The difference between an at-home laser and a medical laser is the strength and the power. So typically what we're doing is we're trying to heat up the follicle to destroy the dermal papilla, which is the root that feeds the hair. At-home lasers are definitely not as strong as a medical laser. So FDA says that you can have them at home, that they're compared to other devices on the market, but they're not as effective as a medical laser. I do have a client who had a medical laser, who had an at-home laser, and he could only get so much done at a time, and then he'd have to plug it in and recharge it. Then he could do a little bit more, and then he could plug it in and recharge it, but he still didn't feel like it was as effective. So finally he just came in and started doing all of his treatments with the medical laser. At Ada West, we do have a medical laser, and we have a dual wavelength, which makes us able to where we can treat lighter skin as well as darker skin. We just have to change the wavelength, which you do not have that option with an at-home laser. So the medical hair laser devices are FDA approved at an 85% reduction for the fact that it cannot get a blonde, a red, or a gray hair. At-home devices are definitely not as permanent, and you'll always have to be doing some type of a touch-up treatment, for the simple fact that the wavelength is not strong enough to destroy the dermal papilla, which is the root that feeds the hair. So definitely do your research if you're wanting to do an at-home laser versus a medical laser. Medical laser, you're definitely going to have a much better result. Another thing that comes into play is different hormones. Like if somebody has polycystic ovarian syndrome, that's a situation that even with the medical lasers is always going to be a touch-up, because that's fighting against the hormones and producing the hair. The other thing is skin color for a lot of them. If somebody's been tanning, you definitely don't want to do laser. With any of the devices, if you've got some tanning, your melanocytes are activated, you're more likely to get some permanent damage, some burning, and possibly scarring. Typically, doing a medical laser, it's a minimum of 6 treatments at 6 weeks apart. The at-home lasers are just going to be several treatments, a week, 2 weeks apart. And then sometimes there's just a never ending with that. But the medical lasers is a typical 6 treatments for most people. Every once in a while, somebody has different hormone imbalances going, they will have to do touch-up. I've had people come to me who've had hair laser in the past and they just haven't seen the results. So we've done the medical device on them, and even after the first treatment, they've definitely seen results. And a lot of it is just different technicians using different settings, not knowing what setting to use for the type of skin and the type of hair. Within the last 22 years of my experience, I've tried out different lasers, I've seen different results, and I've just really gotten to know what works for people and what works for different skin types. And that's why I love my job, because I know that I can give people good results and they'll be happy.